Good morning and welcome to Inside Tennessee along with John North. I'm your moderator, John Becker. We are pleased to have you with us this morning. We're also pleased to have with us somebody with a lot of institutional knowledge in the county of Knox, and that is former Mayor Mike Ragsdale with us this morning. Thank you for being here, Mayor.
My pleasure. Good to be back with you again.
I'm going to run down your resume in just a second, but I introduce our panel first. And Eddie Smith is with us, a reformed state lawmaker, Republican as well.
Recovering politician.
Yes, indeed. And Don Bosch is still stuck in that lawyer mode.
I'm okay there for a bit more.
He's a Democrat.
Good morning.
Good morning. Mayor, for people who don't know, you served on commission first starting in 2000 and served a couple of terms there for 8 years, and then you became mayor of Knox County and served for another 8 years from 2002 to 2010. You're in the private sector now, but we want to focus on your term as mayor and some of the things that changed. But I want to begin with a budget conversation we had with the current mayor of Knox County, Glenn Jacobs, last week. I want to show our viewers who missed it some of the graphics that we rolled through with the county mayor showing that $675 million of the budget goes to schools. So more than 67 cents of every dollar is spent in schools. That's that perspective. The rest, $407 million, spent elsewhere. When Mayor Ragsdale was in place, I think the budget was about $500 million, or excuse me, $500 million instead of $1 billion that it is now. Let's move to that other graphic because we see the debt service is climbing in Knox County, up 10 million to 80 million projected in 2025. And then one more graphic, and this one caught our attention because the debt service number rises quite a bit. 2026, you see it's 88 million. It jumps to 95 million, then 99, and 101 million in 2029. Mayor, this is what I want to get to first. A lot of this happened during your term, where we paid for infrastructure projects and builds that we're now paying for through this debt service. What do you say about that? Is there anything you would have done differently, or was that the way it needed to be done?
I think it was the way it needed to be done. And you can always second guess yourself, but let's go back a little bit in history. And what we did was we had a massive capital campaign to fund a lot of different things. Our first new high school in 35 years, the Hardin Valley Academy. A brand new Gibbs Elementary School. Major renovations and expansions at Ball Camp, Powell Middle, and the Cedar Bluff School of Complexes. And we also wanted to do things for senior citizens and veterans. So we created new senior centers in Carter and in Corryton, a new center in Halls in South Knoxville. We worked with the city to renovate the O'Connell Center downtown, and also the Strang Center in West Knox County. Veterans were important to us, and they were a priority. And a lot of people may not realize this, but the Veterans Administration Nursing Home, which you're so very familiar with, John, Knox County, to get that here, had to match what the federal government was putting up. So Knox County donated the land and $8 million. And also you look at the Veterans Memorial, which has attracted a lot of attention this past week because of Memorial Day. That was a project that Bill Felton, Colonel Felton, and a lot of people worked so very hard on. But when the city donated the land at World's Fair Park, Knox County donated $1 million to make that happen. That was something I was very proud of. Also, the Tennessee Theater renovation was occurring during that point in time, and Knox County was the largest donor to renovating the Tennessee Theater, which has been a magnificent return on investment for our entire community, both city and county. We did similar things at the Beck Cultural Exchange Center, so there was a large number of capital projects. Some had more traditional bonds, some had bonds that escalated over time, and you paid a bigger amount at the end than you did at the beginning. And of course, you made a great point, because the budget when I was mayor was $500 million. Now it's over $1 billion, so the capacity to pay has gotten better, in my opinion, I think. But with that, all that being said, I think Mayor Jacobs and his team have done a wonderful job with the budget and have done a very nice job in managing it.
One other question I want to get to on taxes, and we'll dive into this with our panel, but we haven't seen a tax increase in terms of property taxes in Knox County for 25 years. We won't likely under Mayor Glenn Jacobs, who says he's sticking to that. Mayor, looking out, do you think this county will face a raise in property taxes, or at least have to have that discussion in the coming 3 years?
I think the discussion is healthy. I don't think there's anything at all wrong with talking about how you're going to fund your budget. But we've gone a long time without a property tax increase. And the reason is because of economic growth and I think strong management. And hopefully that can go on for a while longer, but the discussion should happen because you have priorities that evolve over time. And I know now you look at how we want to fund our our teachers and how we want to fund law enforcement and first responders and others. So that's going to be an ongoing challenge. It's a challenge for every mayor and every budget.
Mayor, I'm curious to sort of get your perspective as well. We talked about $500 million being sort of the Knox County budget way back when versus $1.1 billion now. Do you feel like did money go farther back then? Not as far compared to like these days? You watch it, how the budget has grown. It's enormous now. It seems that way. I'm just curious, do you feel like you all didn't have as much money maybe to do the kinds of things that you would have liked to have done, or you had plenty and addressed all the needs?
Yeah, that's a great question, John. Governor Haslam likes to say you get lots of requests. None of them are bad, but you have to decide which ones you're going to fund. And when we were both mayors together, we had lots of conversations about that. Which are we going to fund? Which are the highest priorities? So my take is there's probably not a whole lot of difference. Inflation has eaten that up a little bit over time, but we worked very hard to try and do a lot of good things with what we had to work with. And I think that Mayor Jacobs and Chris Caldwell, who's actually a part of our team, worked closely with my CFO, John Troyer, who at the time I thought John Troyer was the absolute best CFO in the state. And
well respected.
Yeah, Chris learned under him, and Chris is a great CFO as well. So I think they've done a nice job of managing this. I will say this, you have to be creative. And before we started today, we were talking about how we dealt with the sheriff's retirement plan when our voters decided to implement that. It's always going to be some type of challenge that you have to address.
All right.
I had one other question I wanted to ask, and that's the wheel tax, which 20 years ago was a mechanism, I think, that you used to try to raise some money. At one point there was talk about maybe doing a library to be built by the wheel tax. It didn't happen. Is that something that you look back and think that was handy? Is that something maybe somebody else can use? Good idea, bad idea?
I think it was a good idea. And if you recall, that's something our citizens voted on. They passed the wheel tax, and we laid out in pretty good terms what we thought it would go to pay for. I am very disappointed that we didn't get a downtown library constructed. A community of our size needs a better downtown facility. We did a really nice job in funding branch libraries, and Marita Black and Mary Palm Claiborne have done great with what they've got to work with, but it would be wonderful if we had a new state-of-the-art library downtown.
We're going to have to pause real quickly to pay some bills on Inside Tennessee. We're back with questions from our panel right after this.